Because I mean, like, it's hysterical how one of the only people in our government that has any denotion or any notion of ethics, and he's been fired. It's so amazing.
It's lovely.
Oh, dude, you can't write this shit, man. You literally
I've tried.
Can't. You can't. No, that's what I mean. We couldn't write this. We couldn't write this if we had a room full of monkeys.
You got the colored ones?
I'm not racist.
No, I'm just saying you got. No, I'm not saying you're racist.
There's something wrong with colored.
No, I like the colored sparklers.
Oh, okay.
So now you're into that.
Sparklers. Yeah, it's
I'm
bamboo sparklers.
Oh, I never heard of those.
Apparently, this is number 8 bamboo color sparklers.
Oh, I like them when they
That's
have
what
color.
it says. Don't knock it till you try it.
I'm not a hater, dude. I'm just saying.
I wasn't being a hater either. I just said I just saw a
yeah.
colored
Slow down.
sparkler.
Spark
Harry,
it,
they're
light it.
I like sparklers.
I mean, we could roll them up in a, you know.
Actually, there's a video, 10,000 sparklers.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. It like has like a jet fume.
Is it almost like an actual firework?
It is incredibly. It is
Is that what you do?
very like an actual
Is that
firework.
what you do when you're at home? Look up these videos?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to brainstorm.
Yeah, I can see that. You know what I'm really excited for, though? Is all the leftover fireworks.
Do I really want to answer this question for you?
No, all the leftover fireworks that people don't get through on 4th of July.
Okay.
I'm just excited for that.
They had a stand that said buy one, get one free.
They gotta get rid of them. Can't sell fireworks after the 4th.
What?
Nobody's buying fireworks on the 5th.
Fair enough.
Like,
Well played, sir.
you buy them on the 3rd or 4th, a minute before you gotta light them off.
Seriously.
It's like the opposite of Christmas time.
Ohio just legalized fireworks for the first time in like 60 years.
It was illegal to light fireworks in Ohio.
Yeah.
How un-American.
I actually found that incredibly bizarre.
I mean, it is, because it's in the I think Ohio is the Midwest. Like, I
Yeah,
know
that's
it's
literally
before
the first. It's the state of the Midwest. It's like literally like where
It's
the Midwest
before the
begins.
Mississippi, but it's like the Ohio River, Mississippi River.
Well, it's literally where the Midwest begins, state-wise, because you got the Northeast, the Midwest, and then you have southern states. Virginia is the first southern state, and then there's Maryland, which is Maryland's like the first southern state.
Yeah,
Pennsylvania begins the Northeast, and Ohio is, in fact, the Midwest.
Right.
So,
I mean, there's
like, if you're looking at it
Mid-Atlantic,
divisionally.
No, I'm okay.
There's Mid-Atlantic region, but I mean, that's that's Maryland, Delaware, PA, New Jersey, but that's like half of PA and Jersey.
Well, that's more, yeah, but I mean, they consider like that section there like the tri-state area. So, I mean, there's a lot of tri-state areas.
I was gonna
if
say.
you go to like, southern New York.
New York, Jersey, and PA are tri-state.
I think it's. Yeah, I think it is like that's like their version of the tri-state area because New York and PA just kiss ever so slightly on that northern border.
They're not really gay. They're just
Kissing cousins.
Exactly. They should have been in West Virginia.
Wait, why
Or
can't
Philly.
New York be a girl?
Have you talked to a New Yorker?
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, Jersey's
played,
still
sir.
gimp, definitely, but
Well played, sir. Well played.
Pennsylvania doesn't want to admit it's kind of New York's bitch, but it kind of is.
Wow. PA would be New York's bitch. I'm sorry, New Yorkers are too tough for PA to not be New York's bitch.
Yeah, I mean, look, Philly definitely has.
I mean, like, look at
some
it from
tough-
this perspective. New York's always on top.
No, Philly's definitely got a tough crowd of people, but
Yeah, no, they're not fucking with Brooklyn, though.
I think there's definitely there's more people in New York.
Well, yeah, but I
So
mean, like,
you're
even
getting
if you
more of
like,
a-
yeah, but if you took like Philly's toughest 50 people and put New York, Brooklyn's, I'll even take Soho's toughest 50 people.
Okay, I'm
Did you
saying
get his pants yet?
Yeah, I've got plenty of people.
on just
Okay,
a per
this time?
capita
Okay,
basis
good.
or percentage wise, even if Philly has a larger percentage of tougher people, there are more people in New York by far.
Well, I mean, if you're going off the tough guy per capita.
Right. Well, that's what I was going for, buddy.
I wonder if there's actually like indentured statistics on studies for who's tougher, New York or PA, Philly or New York.
I mean, Philly. Here's the thing.
I really don't think Philadelphians are tough. I think they're shit talking badasses, but I don't think they're tough. I'm not afraid of someone from PA.
It's because you're from PA, and you know them. You probably know their cousins.
I know they're pussies. I know they're utter pussies.
Like, you saw them knocked out in Taekwondo. I mean, it happens.
Wow.
But in New York, it's a stranger. You know, you don't know what this person's into.
Yeah. Well,
although I think here's
the
the thing: Philadelphia probably has more crazy people than New York.
Oh well, that's hands down. But you'd have to be crazy to live in Philly.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, there you go. Consider the source.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of New Yorkers pretend to be crazy in order
No,
to
there's
put
definitely
on a
crazy
show.
people in New York, but I think there's also a lot more intelligent, sound-minded people in New York. Whereas Philly, it's like everybody's fucking their cousin, man. Like, how many second cousins do you really have? Or are you just calling that person your second cousin because you don't want to call her your sister wife, you know? You know, it's
Maybe
like you
there's a
don't want to
different-
feel like it's West Virginia, but you're kind of West Virginia's second cousin.
And again, therein lies the truth. It's like state similarity.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a direct proportion to how close you are to the center of the South to how often you find people fucking around with their cousins? I wonder if the epicenter of the United States, South,
Yeah.
is like the most per capita of incest.
You know, I'm not exactly sure how.
I mean,
That
if you
would
Google
work.
Southern porn, it's all incest and gay.
Or biracial.
Well, I mean, how many races do you need in a one-to-one? Well, I mean, I haven't even gone that far into it. I really can't. I have nothing to offer this conversation now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, Atlanta is a very big metropolitan and has a lot of different types of jobs, people. Like, it's a very good economy. But
Yeah, but I mean, you get these social injections in these larger areas, but I'm saying in the more rural areas.
oh, I'm just saying, like, even in New Orleans, it's a city. It's an actual city.
That's
there
what I
are
mean.
buildings and stuff that's modern,
Right.
but they're still the French Quarter. Right.
Anything goes.
Exactly. So I mean, every city has that kind of thing. Like New Orleans has the French Quarter. New York City has the tourist attractions.
Pennsylvania has Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Philadelphia has your cousin.
Wow.
Or that
Which one?
Patty's Bar thing that everybody wants to go to that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Because it's always always
Oh, Patty's
Sunny
on,
in Philadelphia.
No,
It's a big
Patty's.
show.
There's
but
Patty's on South Street.
There is, but that's not
I
the
don't think
bar
that's
from the show.
That's not. Yeah, that's not the pub. From the
No,
show,
that
not at all.
that show takes all the indoor scenes out in LA. So they do all the outside shots
Yeah.
and like maybe 1 or 2 shots per season. If you got the one episode, there was some kind of horse running down Broad Street or something.
Yeah.
But everything, like all the indoor shots, that's all taken in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, people look for it and they're never gonna find it.
Are you familiar with the Angry Video Game Nerd?
You've showed me this.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is a Philadelphia native. He lives in the art museum area, like north of north of.
Is it Northern Liberties?
Boulevard. No, that's not Northern Libs.
Okay, that's.
I mean, no, the Northern Libs is like Girard Avenue.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's
yeah.
more North Philly.
Yeah, it's closer to Northeast. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking Boathouse Row is what I was thinking. I misplaced.
Yeah,
I
no,
misnamed
it's He lives more west, like more towards the city, though.
Okay.
I mean, Boathouse Row's down there, like all like Roosevelt Boulevard or Lincoln Avenue, Lincoln Boulevard, or whatever. Lincoln Park. There is a Lincoln Park down there.
There is, though they refuse to call it that.
They do. They call it. I've heard it called the Rock Garden.
The Lincoln Financial Field. Right. It's Lincoln Park, man. We all know it.
You know it. We know it. Just say it.
This is a Trumpism here. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Okay.
I think he has a little more influence than we're giving him credit for.
Even
All right, so
with me.
But yeah, that was one of my concepts, was like, or like have like an obnoxious DJ.
Sure. Who like always plays the really terrible sound effects.
I have I have a track that would give you an idea of what gave me the idea.
I don't need to.
No. It's a techno track, but it's like, dude comes on, he's like, yeah, so I'm gonna come out with this, and this, and then play that, and then basically copy everything that you have. He's like, oh yeah, that's cool, because you know I'm doing drum and bass. And he's like, yep, exactly. It's like, because the genre doesn't mix with this.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, oh yeah, and about 10 minutes into your set, I'm gonna come in and take all my stuff down from a virtual DJ set and get in your way. It's like, he's just an obnoxious
It sounds
prick.
like,
Is that the one you had on the other day?
who was the dude? Sarah Cohen? Sasha Baron Cohen.
Okay.
Yeah, he did the Ali G show.
You know, you just.
It sounds like the Ali,
Yes.
someone from, or Ali G from the Ali G show. Which
It's called Fuck You Virtual DJ.
Hey Justin, you married yet?
Because I'm a cuck.
What are you?
that's a
You
no.
get married?
In case
I figured
there was.
Yeah, no,
any
divorce was good
confusion.
enough for me. I'm good on that. Divorce was definitely enough.
You're already married?
I was.
I didn't know that.
Tried it, didn't like it, decided everyone needs a golf.
Did you get the T-shirt?
I did get one.
Did they
She
take
got
half
it in
of it?
Yeah, she got it in the
How
divorce.
long were you married for?
Like 8 months.
8 months?
That's
Yeah.
it.
Does that count? Does this count as a real marriage?
I would have gave him 2 weeks.
Oh!
That's why I'm not dating you.
No.
I know. Excuse me, I
Booyah.
could be your mother. Because I knew you when you were a little child.
Justin, a little child. Did he come out of the womb with the hair?
Pretty much.
Yeah, the tats,
Andre's son.
the Beatles shirt.
Weren't you? You were Andre's son.
Still is.
Oh, he's
Were you watching Salt Lake City Punks as you were like in the delivery room?
No, but I was being interviewed for SLC Punk.
Oh man, what's his face? The dude from that.
Oh, the dude that plays the murderer in
Scream. Yeah.
Scream. Yeah.
Dude, that guy plays Shaggy
Yes.
in Scooby-Doo.
Yes, he does. Yes, he
It's the
does.
same
Ha, ha,
character.
ha.
It's Matthew something.
Matthew McConaughey?
No.
No. I know who you're talking about too, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
I
But
always cheat and look it up.
we don't look things up. We bullshit here.
He doesn't look anything up.
No, unless it's a video game.
Or his music.
Where the fuck is it? Such a hilarious.
I was gonna say that guy plays the same character in like every movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he always plays like. Here it is.
Like he does a really good job at it, but it's definitely the same character.
All right, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit because it
Don't annoy
is.
that waitress.
There's other people here.
They're here to be annoyed.
Come on. What is this?
Something you didn't want to hear.
This is the track I was telling you about.
You're gonna annoy the other people, you know.
Yo, alright mate, my name's Filthy Ken, I'm DJing before you.
Oh, cool, nice to meet you. What sort of stuff do you play?
Yeah, like basically all the tunes that you played, but with any of the exclusive ones just like ripped off of YouTube.
Right, okay, well, any chance of, like, not doing that?
Nah, not really, it's kinda like my thing.
Right.
Yeah, also I've got like 20 minutes of nailcore drum and bass to play just before you go on.
Oh, right, yeah, brilliant. No, I'm playing dubstep.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll fuck it.
Yeah, anything else I should know?
Drum,
Oh yeah, like, I hope
bass,
you
and
don't mind, but
dubstep,
for like
what?
the first 10 minutes of your set, I'm gonna be like reaching over and shit and like unplugging random cables so I can pack up my virtual DJ setup.
Fuck you, virtual DJ.
So like a guy like that,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but like he's like teen world star dude.
I used to work with a guy like that.
World star hip hop kind of dude. It's just, yeah, and after that it just goes into this like really
I have to get you to make me a
gnarly
CD.
hard stomp.
I gotta get you to make me that CD.
Make
The
a
music
CD.
burn that stuff you were playing the other night.
Burn?
Or not burn it, but how do you?
We could let it burn.
Rip a CD?
I don't know what you call
You know, I
it.
haven't ripped a CD in like 10 years. I do have blank CDs. I don't know if they're any good.
Well,
That
I mean,
one
they
you were playing the
might.
other day that has the swing music to it.
Oh,
That was on my Pandora. I can't find any of that stuff. Yeah, I was doing like
there's a lot on
Pavlov,
Pandora. I can't.
Tell me.
Power
let
Off
me-
Star,
Let me know
Yeah.
when you find it.
Stellar.
I guess
Power Off
you could
Stellar.
download it off iTunes, but I don't have an iTunes account. I'm like,
I'm not paying for music. I've never.
I
haven't
really
bought-
don't want to like pay for anything. But I
Yeah.
don't have to. But
Yeah.
you know what? That's kind of an issue if I'm trying
Like
to.
all
like,
my music on here, I've burned. I pulled it off. I stripped it off the internet.
Mm.
Like they're all MP3s I found on the internet for free.
Yeah.
I
No, I mean
use,
that's. Dude, I've done that for years. And like, I like. Am I gonna start
MP3
paying
music
now?
download.
Like, I don't know.
It
Maybe
doesn't have a real name, but
maybe I gotta get with it and just pull out my PayPal account.
this is just a.
Oh yeah.
The reason it's legal is because everything's a mix. It's all remixes.
Oh okay.
So like it's
Right.
either covers, remixes, or something where it doesn't cover.
Mhm.
It's not exactly covered under copyright because
Yeah.
it's not the original work. So, or there's some of it is original work, but in the end of the song or like somewhere in the middle of the song,
Right.
it's changed digitally.
You know, a lot of people like with certain songs, you can download the karaoke or instrumental version,
Yes.
and then download the vocals only version,
And then
mix
stitch
them
on
up,
top, and then stitch them on top of each other.
and
I've done that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a old school trick, but like I remember downloading shit off Kazam. Yeah,
Sam.
but when
Sam's horrible.
dude, when that crashed my computer for like the 100th
Kazam.
time, like
Yeah, Kazam was bad.
it was really my
If it
brother's
wasn't-
computer, so
yeah,
I wasn't that
if it
worried.
wasn't-
But
What was it? Napster's still around too.
yeah,
Napster's actually still reasonable though. I
Mhm.
don't think a song is more than 99 cents. And you can
Okay.
get some songs for like 50 cents, 25 cents. It's
Well,
direct
there's-
stitched to your PayPal. It's clean.
Mhm.
Like you're not getting a virus. It's all
Yeah.
scanned when it's uploaded. Like they scan their servers like monthly or some shit.
well, there's stuff now where it's like you can download stuff off of YouTube if you know the right websites, which I'm not going to say because they're my websites. Go find your own. But
Because it's so hard to find a RIP site.
right,
I like
No,
there's
you know
literally a
what, though?
website called RIP YouTube videos.
yeah.
Download videos, YouTube.
I remember
Download
going through this whole
video-
phase
YouTube
of
videos.
like, maybe it was social sites or whatever, but like I went to an online school and like they send you a computer, but they don't want you going on Facebook or MySpace with it or anything.
So it's locked.
Right.
It's got a
So,
it's got a parental lock.
There would be all these like sub social sites that you could start getting into.
like Tuned In and freaking LinkedIn and stuff.
I wish it was names like that.
Oh my God.
Like,
MySocialSite.com.
dude, it was
dot org.
My Place instead of MySpace. There was Facebook, legitimately. There was like Zanga still worked.
Yeah, Zanga.
Because nobody
I like
gave a
Zanga.
fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to write blogs? Go ahead. You
There
know,
you
like-
go.
But there was like, yeah, right.
I'm a blog.
No, there was all these different like
I
weird
still have
sites.
a blog spot.
I do too. I gotta get stuff off there onto a website, like a legit website.
Wix
But
is
like,
apparently the way to go these days.
I'm doing Wix because it's free, and if
Is
you
it
can,
free?
it is. If you don't pay for it, then it's free, and you
Fair
can
enough.
upload the or
Yeah,
publish
but it
the
makes
site.
me wonder.
so-
It actually makes me wonder how much of your data they're giving away because you gotta register. Thank you, Patriot Act. Which, by the
Yeah,
way,
but you're only registering an email you're giving.
did you know it's illegal to capture your own rainwater in the United States?
It is, yes.
What the fuck is that all about? Is there just not enough zirconium in the water for
well,
us
here's
to
the
drink?
thing.
Is there not enough fluorine in it?
It makes sense in the West when there's very little rainwater in general, and
No, that doesn't make sense because I would want an abundance of water, and it
Right.
comes from the.
but if it's in that state needs
All right.
the water for their land.
Well, let me expand on
So-
why it's illegal to capture rainwater.
Okay.
Rainwater is a human need and not a human right. So therefore, water that's found in aqueducts can be purchased. Nestle one of my favorite companies.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the means, I highly recommend picking up some shares.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Owns 30% of the aquifers in California, meaning that the city cannot access these openly.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also with California. I mean, there's the ocean right there.
Yeah, and what bothers me is that they
water.
can't. Yeah, is what bothers me is they don't have any desalination plants.
Yeah,
that's really what bothers me about that whole ordeal.
Well, like when I was down in St. Croix, I had desal water.
Yeah, you mentioned this. How was it?
It wasn't that bad.
Fair enough.
Like, it was purified through the Brita filter, but like, you know, I forget exactly how, because it was told, like they told me, but I don't remember anything. Like, seriously, I hear something like once or twice, and I know it.
Everything seeps out of the bottom of your skull.
Hey, if you want to know, it was Matthew Lillard.
Okay. Yes, Matthew Willard. Yes. No, but I mean, like the desal was fine. Like it tasted a little off compared to like
real
tap water up here, and it is real water though. That's the thing.
Fair enough.
It is.
I'm not going to argue the semantics of water real versus fake.
Right.
I mean, that's just virtual signaling. I think.
But it's a salt problem. And I'm sorry to rip that off of Joe Rogan, but that's exactly what it is.
Joe Rogan, louder with Crowder.
Oh, God, I saw that.
Dude, subscribing to that channel was the greatest thing I've done all year.
Louder with Crowder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
he's been on the Joe Rogan podcast, I think, twice.
Yeah.
But
well, he had Sargon Akkad. I don't know if you followed what happened at VidCon, but
no.
Okay, so you're familiar with Anita Sarkeesian. Please say
slightly.
Yes. Dude, if you don't, okay, so she wrote this she operates Feminist Frequency, which, okay, that's cool.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
All right, then
keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking.
She operates Feminist Frequency, and essentially, she started a Kickstarter for her.
Are you telling him or me?
It's the podcast. We're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
So essentially what she did was she started a Kickstarter. Originally she was going to make 6 videos and put out her concept of the feminist spin on video games and the sexism in video games or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
So she ended up starting at 6,000 and getting over 250,000 for the Kickstarter, which was utterly ridiculous. So she was supposed to kick out 6 or 7 videos, and she never put the videos out. In the meantime,
how do you know this?
I am recording a podcast.
Okay. I'm just asking, that's all. Where do you get all your knowledge?
So essentially,
what are you doing with the fire?
she started the Kickstarter, got all this money. In the meantime, she started up a shitstorm during the Gamergate issues that were occurring. Now, during Gamergate, I don't know if you remember Gamergate, but during the Gamergate issues,
I slightly remember Gamergate.
Yeah. So Anita Sarkeesian, I don't know if you want to wind this back, but...
no, I mean, I'll pick it up.
Alright, because, yeah, there's vague interruptions, but... So, okay, let me bring back up the speed. So Anita Sarkeesian starts this Feminist Frequency thing. Feminist Frequency does really well. She starts a Kickstarter for her tropes versus video games, sexism in video games, blah blah blah.
So her whole vantage point is sort of attacking the video game
industry
scenario and
right.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, during the Gamergate thing, everybody's got blowback coming from like, oh well, we're reviewing games because you're paying us money to review these games, and we're going to give them good reviews because you gave us good money.
Right.
So like everything kind of just like blew way out of proportion over that. So to get back to tracking, when she started this Kickstarter, she only asked for $6,000 to produce 6 videos.
Okay.
In the meantime, the Kickstarter blew up. She got $250,000, some crazy shit like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Right. She only made 4 videos, and they were shitty, and really had crappy arguments. And basically, the entire video game community, like, blew this woman up. So she went crying to everybody and their mother about how she was being harassed online. And it's like, no, you make shitty arguments and people criticize them. And they're like legit. I mean, like, there were like assholes like, you know, threatening her life. That shit did happen. Probably.
Sure. Those people exist regardless, though.
Right,
like,
exactly.
They've
like,
existed since the beginning of the internet, you know?
Yeah, right. Like and the
my
troll,
general just told me that...
and the troll was born.
Right.
So, right, so... Not the sidetrack. So, meanwhile, Sargon of Akkad, a YouTube user, he totally...
I would. Thank you.
He totally goes and sits in the front row of one of her speaking points at VidCon just this past couple months ago.
Okay.
And essentially, she calls him out, like, and starts harassing him on how she like, oh, he harasses me. This shitlord over here harasses me. Points at him and like blows him up, and he's just like standing there like, what are you talking about? Meanwhile, she's like calling him names and pushing issues with him and basically harassing him, but she's accusing him.
And he wasn't doing anything at the time.
No, he's just sitting there. Like, yeah, they were just sitting in the front row. Like, they were the first people to show up, so they took the front seats. And, you know, they had a special VIP area. They were going to originally all just sit in the front row, like in the front row. But because there was special VIP seating, they had to sit behind, like, they had to sit in a small cluster, in a squad group. So Sargon of Akkad is on louder with Crowder talking about this, and it's just hilarious. It's epic. I mean, maybe you maybe edit in something.
I mean, granted, if the guy was attacking the girl online and then shows up to a conference,
But this is. It's like, it's proper criticism. I mean, yeah, like,
whether it's proper criticism or not, if the girl already feels attacked, the guy should realize that's what the girl is going to feel like.
She went to the UN.
Being ridiculous at that point. But I'm just, no, I mean, like,
to try and stop internet harassment. I mean, like, are you fucking kidding me? No, that's not how it works, dude. You get online, you are in an open forum. Okay? You have to browbeat people back all the time. You have to accept that there's going to be death threats. You have to accept that potentially one of them could be real, but for the most part, they're not.
Well, that's the thing, is that most people in the limelight or whatever online are going to receive some kind of death threat. Abraham Lincoln received a death threat. One of them actually turned out to be right.
Well, yeah, but then I mean, so did Reagan. He lived.
I mean, I think I've received a death threat at one point. I felt like one, but I'm not sure if it was legit.
I don't read my comments section, so
this was a message, so it was. I wish. I'm
sure in my day I've pissed off a few Mexicans.
Yeah. I feel like there's been people I've pissed off,
right.
And there's been times where they say things that could be perceived as a death threat. Some is legitimately just a death threat, but if there's no actual physical threat,
right?
Like, but it's hard to figure out when is it an actual threat, when is it not. And in general, like, actual threats, you can consider that be bullying or online bullying, and maybe it's better that we don't allow minors online.
Well, like, I mean, that's just it. I mean, most of you, because we're older, we don't experience this, but most under 13 users. Even some under 18 users. It's 13 and 18, PG-13, and R, blah, blah, blah. So we don't experience that because we're older. And we're logged in with our YouTube account. Our YouTube account knows how old we are through our email, blah, blah, blah. So we don't experience this, but when they're age-restricted videos, you have to verify your age. And if you can't verify your age, then you can't watch the video.
But it's easy enough to do for anybody to verify their age.
Anybody can come online, but once you've defrauded YouTube, then basically to cover YouTube's libel. So I mean, once they push their libel off, I mean, you used to have really You used to have pornography on YouTube.
I remember.
Oh man, I miss YouTube. I miss
The
real
old YouTube, yeah.
I miss the old YouTube.
There was things I liked about it, other things I didn't really care for. But
right, I mean, they became more family friendly and more age appropriate for the entire community. That's good.
Yeah.
But the fact that they removed adult content from the website just goes to show how much they don't control age appropriate content.
Yeah.
Or else that stuff would not be searchable by underage individuals, and you could have that content. You could have basically an open forum site in that sense. But the fact that they don't, but there's still 18 and over appropriate content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
the 18 and over content, still, there's no nudity. Or
right,
very,
I think nudity
very
was added to the terms of law. Well, there's limitations, but I mean, it's restricted to American access 18 or older, 18 under content. So it's pretty much PG-13.
Right. Which I'm okay with. And honestly...
Yeah, I don't go to YouTube for...
porn.
Yeah. It's not...
No. Why?
YouTube, RedTube, PornTube. Those are the tubes. Like, that's just... You have to get over it.
YouTube, RedTube. Yeah,
PornTube.
okay. PornTube. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, so essentially, like, you know, with people like Sargon of Akkad coming at the new wave feminism, you know...
Wasn't he an old atheist person on YouTube?
He is a part of the skeptic community, yes.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, you have, like... Okay, so, like, the skeptic community right now is Logic, Armored Skeptic's kind of in and out, but he's been shitloading a lot and doing a lot of false information, and Logic just called him out on that. And that information right now is pretty poignant because it used to be Sargon of Akkad, Computing Forever, Logic, and Skeptic, Armored Skeptic.
Okay.
Now you still have like Thunderfoot, DP Jones still comes out once in a while. Like all those people, like they're still around, but they're not as active as they used to be because they've debunked everything that they're going to debunk. Thunderfoot still makes videos because he came in not to debunk Christianity and young Earth creationism, but to create science channels. And his channel is amazing. Go check it out. It's a really good channel.
Yeah.
Highly recommended. He does all kinds of sciencey stuff. And
cool.
It's a good channel. But moving back to the skeptics, these guys here have charged themselves with attacking, not so much attacking, but criticizing the new wave feminism, social justice warrior issues, Antifa. Like they cover more social issues, and that's really what the brewing pot is right now, is because these things are going to actively affect how the rest of it unfolds. So,
and a lot, I mean, it's coming from like a general viewer standpoint, it does feel like a lot of these skeptic channels tie in with alt-right formats, which they're different.
Right.
And when you look at it, I mean, the alt-right, as far as being more neo-Nazis or...
just fascism in general.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely similarities and ties, but they're different.
It's not... Right, like with people like Computing Forever, Sargon of Akkad, these are white straight males that are just pissed the fuck off about all this dumb shit. I mean, like the whole gender bender and gender fluid and non-bi.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like multi-gendered individuals, like all this shit's irrelevant.
I think
have equal rights.
The one girl
I
listen to now is
don't say Milo.
No.
I'll punch her like a Nazi.
No, it's her name's Shoe Off Head, I believe.
Shoe on Head, yes.
Or Shoe
that's
on
Armored Skeptic's wife.
Oh, okay.
And that's Armored Skeptic's wife.
I was upset that she was married.
Yeah, I was so sad.
She's
still fun to watch.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I love her accent because it's like Brooklyn or whatever.
Yeah, they're Canadian by descent, I suppose. And that was a big thing, was like everyone thought that she was like young. And that Armored Skeptic was a pedophile. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
she's
looks
gorgeous.
Well, she looks like early 20s.
Now.
Yeah.
5 years ago she looked like she was 17. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know how old she is exactly. I wasn't worried, but like
No, I mean,
it's
like,
not my life. It's
well,
not,
yeah,
I don't
but
know
I mean,
that
like, you have to
person.
understand is like when people started to bring their relationship into the community spotlight, and and Armored Skeptic got doxxed.
Okay.
And Sean had got doxxed by I forget who it is. But they doxed him and said he got called out for being a pedophile and this, that, and the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, dude, like my wife's like 20. I think they're married now. They weren't at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, yeah, she's like 23.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks she's like 17, 16.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're crazy.
Well, no, I mean, you can tell, like, the way she talks or whatever,
Yeah.
you can tell her age.
Yeah, she presents herself as a more mature individual, aside from looks. So if you're just
But when
like
you looked at
tuning in-
someone like Boxy, like,
yeah, right, or Potato.
dude, even if she was 20 or something, the way she talked that's childish in such a way where
Right.
if she came on and it's like, this is my boyfriend, and he looks like he's 40, well,
Right.
guess what?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I think it actually got to the point where the Canadian authorities had actually like knocked on his door.
Okay.
I think I can't be. I don't remember, but I think it had gone that far where the Mounties had
I mean,
the CMP.
at the
came
same time,
and
though, if
kicked
you're
the
a
door in.
viewer and you're seeing this, whether you agree with the politics or not, I mean, if you're seeing an older looking person with a younger looking person, and you feel like there might be something off here,
right, off color, I guess you'd call it.
maybe you would call the authorities, and that doesn't necessarily mean you had any arguments with what they were putting out as far as content.
Right.
You're just like, look, legally, hey, that looks really messed up, and
Right.
maybe somebody should check on that.
Well, all right, and not to dissuade from this tangent, but back to what we were talking about is with the whole Antifa and everything. See, like this group here, again, they're just individuals that are being brought into speculation about their beliefs, and these guys are not people that would normally stand behind people like Trump. Like,
Right.
But because of the other options that are out there and the way that society is progressing into this regressive movement, I mean, like you literally have colored people of color, whatever you want to call it, wanting to be segregated. They're wanting Jim Crow laws to be enabled. I mean, like, are you kidding me? I mean, did you see the whole thing down at the Berkeley, maybe 2 years ago at the Berkeley campus, where they actually were kicking reporters out of their safe space, so they couldn't report on what the movement was about.
You know what?
This was right before Black Lives Matters, like during the whole
There's a lot that I missed.
Yeah.
Like, I was dealing with other things.
Fair enough.
Personal stuff. But.
Well, yeah. So essentially, what happened was the Trayvon Martin, blah blah blah, Black Lives Matter. Then students were going along the campus like, we need a safe space. We need a safe space. I mean, like, okay, fine. But then reporters were trying to come in and report on this for the school paper, and they're like, no, get him out of here. And then a teacher that was actually a part of like the head of the social department, social sciences department, was like, I need some muscle over here to get this guy out. And it's like, are you serious? Like, you just like called an ape, like one of your apes, over to manhandle this reporter off the scene. Like, that's censorship. So then the whole censorship came up, and then that's when like everyone really started delving into this and like criticizing this new feminist movement and these social justice warriors, and all that stuff started to come about.
Yeah.
So
I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's always from my standpoint, everything I say. Fair
enough.
But I guess fourth wave feminine.
Third wave feminism is what we're currently working on. Yeah, but now you have the MRA movement that's counteracting that, and it goes into a whole
that's
MRAs.
Here's the thing: is that there was a feminism meeting I was going to on a regular basis just to see what it was about. And I'm
pick up chicks.
No, I knew all the chicks, and they weren't that good looking.
Well, they're feminists. I mean,
like, I knew them, or I wasn't really into them. Like, there was one cute girl, I think, but whatever.
Right. Moving on.
Basically, it seemed like there's a push to have some kind of term or some logo, some symbol, whatever, to like stand behind.
Right.
Because there's this lack of actual need for social justice.
See, and that's what I mean. Like, in this country,
it seems like it.
Right. Like, look, things like the wage gap has been debunked. Items like, unequal, just like people being unequal. Like, look, we will have compartmentalized inequities in our country.
All those
forever
inequities,
and ever and ever.
you could break down to inequities because of gender or race or whatever, but at the same time,
employers can be assholes. People can be bigots.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that you are being it's not like Boko Haram. You're applying for a job at Boko Haram.
Right.
You know, like Americans are not taking the perspective they need to take. Like, a Feminist Frequency came out.
Everybody else is wrong.
No, well, yeah, they are.
Kind of,
They
but not
incredibly. They are incredibly wrong. They're pushing. They're taking a progressive notion and moving it into a regressive state. I mean, like I said earlier, like minorities are actually wanting segregation. Like, they just recently had a campus, I think it was Berkeley once again, or Green something or other, just had a off-campus day or something shit like that, where if you weren't a minority, you weren't supposed to be on campus. And one of the teachers was like, fuck you, I'm teaching my class here. I have a class to teach. I'm going to educate these children that...
Right.
You know what I mean? And they, like, lost their shit. And they had no real arguments other than the fact that they had a teacher that was white on the property during the time when he was supposed to observe their segregation time, their safe space time. And he's like, no. And he had completely valid arguments for being there. No one really had any kind of reason for wanting him off campus.
Well, I don't really know the whole story,
No,
so I can't.
Well, yeah, I mean...
I can't really make a judgment on
right. I'm not trying to bring up a notion for conjecture. What I am trying to bring up is that, once again, like a cuck, the dean of the school totally was like, okay, we'll satisfy everybody with everything that you need and this, that, and the other thing, and just totally like kowtowing to these millennial brats that are just, and I mean, like, they're like, we're here for our rights, and meanwhile they're like ordering pizza. I mean, like, are you serious? Like, pizza's what you're trying to get your movement pushed forward. But
well, it was the same thing with Occupy Wall Street. It was like a bunch of people rallied around Wall Street and other cities, and like they were just protesting on something. There wasn't a clear, concise
exactly,
value.
Exactly that. Like, with the people rally around these battle flags, and there isn't a specific movement.
Right.
Like, it's captivating.
It's like
it really
legitimately feels like a lot of yelling, but no actual words.
Well, yeah. Well, virtue signaling is now
upset.
what the new thing is.
But it's, you know, there's also a point of saying, well, maybe there are legitimate reasons why people are upset, and they're not being addressed. But you can't know what those things are unless the people who are upset are actually addressing what those things are, and we can get down to some kind of discussion.
Yeah, right.
But then it's also, who are we discussing this with? Who, like, look, man,
well, yeah,
you could say the 1%, but how many of that 1% are like what you think are actually 1%ers?
Well, that's the thing, is no one's petitioning the 1%. Everyone is bringing this to government's eyes, like bringing this into the light of the government so that an action can be taken. I get that. But when you have Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ and the Tea Party and somebody else all get into their riot gear, you don't get anything done because you're all protesting for different things.
It's just wanting a revolution.
Well, I mean,
people want a revolution, but what's the revolution for?
Well, no one's going to pick up a gun anytime soon. I mean,
maybe
from all the fluoride in the water. Like, we can't capture rainwater, so we got to drink all the fluoride to neutralize our brains from resistance.
Right.
But no, I mean, that's exactly it.
Unless they piss you off in a road rage accident.
Listen, I'm not. I'm not trying to incite anything here, but I mean, like, we haven't had a serious political movement since the '70s, and you see what happened. I mean, it's coming to that point. But now we have militarized police. We don't have to. You know, the state doesn't have to call in the National Guard to turn hoses and dogs on people. They have the police for that. The police have dogs. The police have tanks.
Right.
The
police have been militarized.
We have a militarized police force.
Why?
If you don't, I mean, like, no one was paying attention in the early '90s, but we basically became a demilitarized state. We've been living in a militarized state for the last 30 years. sadly. So
I was talking to my stepdad. He was saying something about how because of the weaponry available now to regular citizens, and the police trying to keep up with things, it's like eventually it all turns into where we're at. Like, there's little steps that you can track.
Well, I mean, like, you look at, like, a lot of police forces now in, like, the middle rural areas, and they've got, like, APCs. And if they don't bring out the toys and play with them, they lose the funding for that. I mean, these guys are buying Humvees and Fox vehicles and all this other stuff from military surplus through a bill that was passed, and everyone let that bill pass. No one was reading what the government was doing.
Right.
You know? Like,
now, granted, this could all be, as far as I know, post whatever, this could all just be bullshit, and I'm just dumb because I'm not looking this up. I'm not. But here's the other issue.
Well, I'm sure I can fact check that.
Well, fact check it or not.
I've been in the know for quite some time.
The whole fake news thing now, like, not that Donald Trump is right about anything, but the idea that there's fake news, well, yeah, there is news that is available that is not factual.
Fake news is not a new concept. We have had bullshit news articles since Panama. And I mean, like, some people freaking the moon landing is fake news.
Well,
you know?
yeah. I mean,
so I mean, like, it depends on how much of a you don your tinfoil hats and get back in the Wayback Machine.
No, but I mean,
we've had problems with fake news all the time. I mean, we've had.
What was it? Sinclair though, John Oliver did a piece on this news corporation,
right,
which bought out a certain amount of local stations.
Right, Rupert Murdoch in 1996.
I thought Rupert Murdoch's dead.
Rupert Murdoch is immortal.
Is he not?
He's one of the Rothschilds or some garbage
He's not
like
dead?
that.
I thought he died.
I really don't think he has died. I don't remember that. You can fact check that. I don't care.
This is something I really.
You go on with that. I'll continue on with what I'm going to say with. He, and regardless of whether or not he's alive or dead, or whoever holds his legacy, he bought all the cable networks.
Yes.
Back in like 1996, and created Fox News Network.
Right.
Fox News is literally like over 250 local news broadcasters, but then they also have the Fox News Network, and that's when he incorporated the Fox News Network, and they gather all their stories from all these local places. Like ABC News doesn't work with them, MSNBC. Fox News actually is one of the only news broadcasting companies, one of the largest news broadcasting companies.
Rupert Murdoch's still alive.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Him and Rothschild are going to be buried together on Mars.
God. That's just...
Yeah. So, I mean, the man owns 80% of, like, American news functionality.
Right.
No, so of course he can mandate what's going to be said.
But here's the thing. With
they push the
cable
narrative
news network, with CNN, Fox, MSNBC,
Fox, right.
There's a certain kind of understanding, though, that this news that you're watching leans a certain way in this kind of bias.
They've always had their narrative and their political backers that push them one direction or the other.
And it's obvious. Now,
clearly,
the thing, but the thing with Sinclair,
Sinclair. Sounds right.
It does sound right, but it might not be. It was the John Oliver show special that came out. This is July 4th, so this past weekend. Basically, this company has bought out all these different local news stations, and the idea behind local news being it's supposed to be unbiased. You're supposed to get your sports, weather, and like some local humane story or whatever. But now this major company is dictating these local news sources to run certain pieces that lean right, and there's no warning sign to say this is why, this is what is happening. This company has now bought out our local news station, and so like there's mandatory pieces that they run. And one news station out in Washington, I believe, this is all on the John Oliver story, but basically this one news outlet ran one of these mandatory pieces that was sent to them from the head company, and it was about they were saying, listen up, snowflake,
This is recently.
Yes.
Okay, because
They ran this at like 3 in the morning when nobody was watching.
Right.
But it was because you had to run this.
Right.
So they did it at a time where the viewership was low enough that it wasn't really affecting their actual news.
Right, it wouldn't actually hit their viewer base.
But I mean, like, with the not that you can't take any news story and find some kind of twist to it to support whatever political view you have.
Right, push your narrative or whatever.
I mean, people do that. What is it? Every single army does that with God and religion.
Well, yeah.
Right. So I mean, there's
find a political perspective and then get on it, you know.
Mm-hmm. But so, I mean, it's basically like you look up something. It's knowing how to look something up. Mm-hmm. That is more important now than the actual information.
Yeah, you can like with the Trayvon Martin shooting, that comes to mind for some reason. Like there was 3 different narratives that everybody was standing behind. It was the police, it was the witness bystanders, and it was the Black Lives Matter movement, which basically kicked up the whole dust storm.
Yeah.
And the autopsy sounded biased, leaning towards Trayvon being in the wrong, and then everyone was like, well, another black kid gets shot, and then people were like, well, the witnesses say this, and then there was conflict in the testimony reports from the witnesses, and it was just like, well, what's going on here? So no one really had a proper narrative. Was
the body cam on, or was there no body cams?
There was no body cam for this one. This was really what kind of pushed the police
the whole body
make
cam
efforts
thing.
for the body cams. Exactly.
Which I agree was a good push.
It can be. I mean, like I can't. If I could figure out some negatives to it, I would be against it. Just because, again, it falls under privacy, and I'm libertarian by nature, even though I find myself more centrist egalitarian.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely more libertarian myself, but I do find that if you're a civil servant, as the police are supposed to be, then as a public figure, you should have some kind of audio and visual equipment displaying what you're seeing. Right. Because that should be public information.
Well, and here's the thing, though, is that Arizona and 2 other states actually have a bill that passed recently, last couple of years recently, that it is illegal to film police activity. Which, like, what do you mean? It's illegal to create evidence? I mean, I don't understand what's...
There's
got to
be a whole argument for that. That sounds...
But it falls under privacy, and if the police, that officer does not want to be filmed, then he would essentially be, you know...
Yeah, but if you're
I respect my privacy as a private citizen, but you're not a private citizen, you're a public servant.
Exactly.
But
when you're wearing the suit, the whole badge...
Yeah,
when you're wearing the badge...
Yeah, absolutely.
You're, at that moment...
Yeah. You're in
the public service.
Well, you're in the public
You're
eye,
no longer your private entity.
Right.
You are the state.
Right. Which
also... you are the representation of what the state's laws are supposed to be, local municipalities, all that.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, to try and create some kind of private persona when it comes to the police is where...
Yeah, it gets all hazy.
Yeah, like...
Well, they start to muddy the water.
You're doing it because you're trying to protect people from displaying what? What exactly?
Yeah.
And that's where the Black Lives Matter thing came in, because you had this institution that, when you look at the history of police interactions with minorities, it seems very racist.
Well,
I'm not saying it is.
I will fact check that. I will body check that on right into the moon. It comes out with African Americans being 12% of the population. It still comes out to just under 50-50 with police on white versus police on minorities as a whole. So keeping in mind that there is more interaction and lethality when there is police interaction, but the police also have to deal with these individuals in higher crime areas and, you know, less locations of inequities.
Sorry, that's funny.
Amazing.
Okay, but look,
We'll have to take that out in post.
the majority of Philadelphia's population is black.
That I'd have to look into. I would definitely say that.
What is okay?
I mean, it could be 50-50.
I
really
it's
don't think
definitely
it's
not
on the
50-50.
I know it's not 70-30.
It might not be like that, but it's. Yes, please.
I'd like some food as well. You hungry?
If you want to.
It's either that or Hot Pockets. The
Population
dollar store.
Give me a
percentage
Just Philadelphia diversity.
by race. Thank you. So, in the United States, the population of white is 60, based on 2010, 63.7%. This is Google.
Yeah.
Black is 12.2.
Okay.
American
Fact check me.
Indian is 0.7. Asian 4.7.
Yeah.
Hispanics, I believe, are the fastest.
Pejorative. They're the pejorative. I think they sit at something like 22 or 18 or something. Somewhere in the teens.
But in Philadelphia, okay, the total population is 100%, just in case you were wondering. I love how that works.
Was there a cap? Was there a cap on the
Okay.
Philadelphia population? I don't understand. What was the MO on that?
Okay,
statistic?
Philadelphia is 44.3% black.
Okay, so yeah, I'd say about 50-50. I would go about halfway.
No, but I'm saying you're excluding Hispanics, American Indians,
Right,
all the
well, I
other
mean,
percentages.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to put minorities into it, I mean, you're looking at probably minority to white. You're looking at maybe 63%
Yeah,
minority.
right.
But I mean, I don't particularly count. I mean, like you can. I'm not really counting other minorities because in this consensus, like you know, it seems to be more white on black because the cops are always white and the victim is always black.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there are, in my opinion, very often at times publicized victims. The one with the kid in Chicago, the little boy playing with a pellet gun, and the cops get out, and in under 3 seconds they waste him. I mean, that's ridiculous. And
Yeah.
and he got off. I'm like, you got to be out of your fucking mind. But then you have the one that just happened recently, and
The guy in the car.
got shot 7 times.
Yeah.
Really, 7 was what you needed?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would have been all right with 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, good, he's wounded. You know, like you look at countries like Germany. In the last 12 years, they've killed 3 people.
Yeah.
Like armed
was a guy
suspects.
in
They've
Japan.
killed 3 armed suspects
I saw this video. I don't know how recent this
with
was.
over 50 something interactions of armed suspects.
Right. No, this was from either Japan or Korea. This guy walks into a bank with a gun, trying to hold up the bank.
Right.
The cop talks the guy down.
Yep.
In the end, hugs the guy. And it's
it.
like there was no violence whatsoever.
Right.
But in this state or this country as well, like there's pictures available of white police officers at a standstill with another redneck white guy.
Oh yeah, no, they'll take him to McDonald's and
yeah.
buy him food. And,
But
I mean, like, you've got to be kidding me.
it seems, like I said,
I mean, they've never done that for me. I've been arrested. I'll tell you right now. They've never taken me. I've never been
to McDonald's, but
my white privilege is not that deep.
No.
When I check my privileges, being taken to McDonald's on the way to jail is not one of them.
Oh damn! You got to know somebody.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Small
like,
community.
you have to
but-
consider, like, I mean, that was a specific case.
Yeah.
I can testify. I mean, the best thing I've ever gotten from a constable before I go to jail is a cigarette before I walk in the door.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, and they do that for everybody. Okay,
Mhm.
constables usually pretty cool, but again, like, you know, these kinds of narratives, like our government definitely wants a division between us because if we don't all stand on one belief and we don't all go one direction,
Mhm.
and we try to pull away from each other and separate ourselves
Yeah.
in this manner, the way it is going, we'll never be able to focus ourselves and pinpoint what we really need to do to fix what is wrong with our government. Like, everyone's talking about all these social justice warriors, social justice issues, and all this other stuff, and no one even remembers Occupy movement. Occupy's gone.
Yeah.
No one talks about 1%. Do you know the
Except
G20
Bernie Sanders.
Oh yeah, well I mean that man's been on the 1% for the last 25 years.
Right.
I mean like everyone's like, oh well his bill won't work and blah 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 blah. It's like you can't tell me one thing about it, can you? The fact that it's single payer and it's a socialist thing.
Yeah.
You know, like back when FDR was going to set up Social Security, everyone's like, oh, we won't be able to do that. It's like, well, you know, you take that $30 billion out of our military and we might be able to do that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, do we really need the F-25,000 Hornet bomber jet plane with the laser beams? I mean, do we need that? We have one of the
It depends
we have one of the
on
most
how-
high-tech standing armies on the planet.
Let me tell you something. When you tell people about North Korea and Iraq
Dude,
and
it's all pissing contest, man. It's all pissing contest.
what I'm saying is,
I mean, really, they shoot
how
a missile into
easily
the Sea of
scared-
Japan and everyone's terrified of nuclear war.
how easily scared are people?
Look, dude, all I have to say is MAD. Mutually assured destruction. No one, everybody wants them.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Except
dude,
Pakistan and India.
Dude, when UK leaves the EU,
Yeah.
France will be the only nuclear power that the EU has.
Mm-hmm.
What?
France.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Germany obviously can't have atomic weapons for obvious reasons.
Right. Well,
Scandinavia doesn't
do you
fucking want them.
do you trust Germany?
Oh, I'm down with the brown. I love Germany. Germany's great, dude. They can have all the nuclear weapons. I mean, the problem is in 10 years. But the problem is with Germany is that they're just going to be, you know, overrun with so many refugees that they're going to have to disarm themselves nuclearly so they can store the refugees somewhere.
Have a place for all of them.
Yeah, I mean, like, well,
We
here's another
built you
thing.
little houses.
I mean, I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna pivot. Right now, Germany has such an influx problem with their refugees
Yeah.
that they have taken all their abandoned housing and have annexed it from the private citizens so that they can move these refugees in. You just had one of the worst epidemic sexual offenses, sexual assault cases, epidemic pandemic proportions ever in your history. And now you're going to see and house these people in your country. I mean, you gotta be kidding. You can't
I
write
wasn't
this.
familiar with that.
Oh yeah, just 4 months ago, back in March. So 2 months ago, 3
I feel
months
like
ago.
this is not the first time I've heard this. I still do not know the
Yeah,
details.
I mean, they're really.
I'm really
no,
out of it.
It was really like a ticker tape on CNN when they brought it up.
Okay.
NPR really just covered it briefly, and it was just like gone. Like, here's what we're talking about, and then they go. You know, like they'll sit there and they start their news program.
Yeah.
They're doing the flip over for the next newsreel, and they'll just keep mentioning the same headline for fun.
Right.
I remember that one because that's the one that they brought up right as the BBC was coming off, and it was just like Germany's annexing abandoned property to put refugees. It's like and now everyone's up Poland's ass because Poland's like, hey, we're not doing that shit. And everyone's like, oh, Poland, you bigoted racist. It's like, no, we don't want people mowed over in trucks, blown up, shot to pieces. We're peaceful. We're a sovereign nation. We're peaceful. We don't have this problem. You know why? We don't have 10 million fucking refugees in our country that we just don't know where they're from. I mean, like, you wouldn't know anything. If you didn't know anything about your partner, you wouldn't be on that intimate of a level with them. And this is the same concept. You don't know where these people are. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they've come from. You haven't even shook hands yet, and you're letting them in your house. I mean, like, yeah, that's the brutal, honest truth. These people are so anxious to run away. Why aren't they picking up guns and defending their country? Join the revolution. Join the revolutionized countries. France did it. UK did it. Scotland's done it. Ireland's just about finished doing it.
Right.
Africa is not doing it. America did it. Canada did it. Mexico did it.
Canada asked for it. They
were asking for it. They were totally asking for it.
Did you see what they were?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They definitely deserve what they got.
Yeah, they did. I ratified that bill.
Did you see the paper they were writing on? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that was some like 200 count Egyptian shit. But I mean, that's one of my firmest perspectives is everybody from Morocco and Egypt and Turkey and Lithuania and wherever the fuck else they're coming from in the Middle East. These are refugees. They're the sick, the weak, and the blah blah blah. And like all these countries that are taking them in are having this influx of issues with it.
Right.
Everybody, Germany, UK, France especially. France, I think, was averaging for a while like 2 terrorist attacks a week. Like, that's insane. And then the prime minister of Germany comes down and he's like, well, we're just going to have to get used to this way of life. It's like unthinkable, but we're just going to have to get used to that. I'm sorry, what? You're going to let this place become Baghdad? Are you out of your mind? You're going to be like this place become like 1986 Libya? Are you stupid?
I mean,
no wonder there was no wonder.
What do you do?
Well, I mean, obviously you gotta get rid of the problem, and I mean, Switzerland hasn't gotten this problem yet, nor has Sweden or Denmark. They have the other large.
No, but
look, Denmark, but these countries, but these other countries
move these refugees back to where they're from or whatever.
Italy's ready to cut them off. Italy's cutting them off.
But what I'm saying is,
Italy doesn't want the problem.
Those people still are going to exist regardless of where you put them.
Okay, well, they're not going to exist in a country and destroy it, or at least be. Let me rephrase that, because that was a little off the cuff.
Okay.
They can't come into a country and be a part of the problem. There's no way to screen these people as to who they are, where they're from. Some of these people don't even have birth certificates or identification. I'm sorry, you're gonna let this person into your country? You're gonna let these kind of refugees off into your country? Dude, back in February, there was refugees in France that were literally storming vehicles, stopping box trucks, lorries, all that stuff, stopping them to get into UK. Why you want to get into UK so bad? Serious? Now, and before I even lose this thought, because I want to really delve into this one. This has been on top of my head for a while.
Okay.
One of the biggest teachings that Muhammad had as Muslim, and he was their prophet.
Yes. Don't draw him.
I got all the pictures.
Damn it.
he as a philosophy would write in that one of the ways that they could conquer is move in and assimilate and just take it over by population, breed them out.
Right.
Scotland had the same issue. If you look at Grand Rapids, Michigan, there are sections where Muslim communities will come in and they'll live polygamously, and they'll have wives set up in several houses that they'll buy, rent, whatever. Then they'll set up themselves in different state-funded programs for each family. And then, of course, the father's not around, so sympathy falls on the woman with these 8 kids. The guy's got like 20-something kids, has 5 or 6 residencies, pops in and out whenever he wants, and that's all in the state's dime. But on top of that, you have multiple people doing this, getting on the school boards, getting onto the local government, and then taking over these areas on a local level. And then from there, they push on to, if you're not Muslim, you're not welcome here. So now they can actually take over the place. Well, you're not pushing me out of my neighborhood. Oh yeah? And now rocks start going through windows, tires start getting slashed. Well, police chief's Muslim. And no one's going to go tattling on other Muslims. Are you kidding me? This is actually happening in this country, America. The Muslim influx is a problem. It's a cancer, and it has to go. I don't like religion. I'm not an atheist, and I understand that people need their faith.
Right.
But a faith that cannot acclimate to civil society does not belong in a civil society. I mean, can't argue that. You can't agree that everyone deserves a free shot of life to live happily and equally, regardless of how they feel or what they want to look. Like, I don't agree with the trans community on a lot of their bullshit. Doesn't mean I don't think they have a right to live.
Right.
Or live next door to me for all I care. I don't care. But at the same time, I mean, like, come on, dude. You can't cut the dude's hand off. We have jail for that.
You guys need more coffee?
I'm good.
No, I'd like to order, though. So.
Alright.
I want to keep talking, but let's put this on hold for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want all the food.
But
Where is the bathroom?
right over there.
Thank you.
Over Winger.
Go around the corner. Is it opening behind the counter?
You'll see King Tut.
Thank you.
Or in front of the counter?
King Tut.
Mm-hmm. It's a mummy.
Yeah, just go up to the mummy. It's on the right.
Way to wrap it up.
So, yeah, in regards to that, it's really not that hard for me to postulate
Thank
that
you.
that's what's going on. Or that that's what's going to be going on. Thank you.
You welcome. You need anything else?
Yep, cool. Cool as a fool in a swimming pool.
Alright. So, we have food now. I'm relieved.
I am Jack's sustenance.
That looks really decent, actually.
It's a great idea.
It's a bagel with American cheese and chicken fingers. It's basically it's a chicken sandwich, and you're adding the barbecue sauce now.
Yes.
Okay, then.
I don't.
I mean, this is definitely a 4th of July thing.
Well, I don't. No, I do this all the time. I don't trust.
You don't have to say this.
I don't trust restaurants.
Right.
So my food's fried. It's plain with no sauces on it.
Right.
So I know nobody's molested my food.
Okay.
I worked in the kitchen for 12 years.
I mean, I've worked in the kitchen. I generally trust people as long as they seem trustworthy.
Fair enough.
So that's why it's like breakfast, I'm never really worried about. Like, I'll eat eggs from basically anywhere.
That's creepy.
I mean, well, I mean, ostriches aside, but
Ostrich eggs are different and very delicious.
I'm sure they are.
One of the rare eggs that I'll actually eat.
Ostrich egg?
Yes.
I don't know. I've never had an ostrich egg, so I can't say. I'd be willing to try if it didn't seem like there's anything necessarily wrong with it, I guess.
It's just, I mean, you have to understand, like, all bird eggs are bird eggs.
Yeah.
Like, they have a yolk.
Mm-hmm.
That clear shit.
Not if you ask for the whites.
Just assume my race.
Yes.
Fair
Is
enough.
there an issue with this? Look, I'm
Not
only
your mother.
racist towards the Kardashians, and I think that's fair play for them.
Yeah, no, that's all. That's game on, dude.
Right. But that okay. It simultaneously looks good yet disgusting.
Diner food.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I should expect from a diner, I guess. But
It's a barbecue chicken sandwich.
that's one way of putting it. On a bagel. Although,
Yeah, I just like bagels. I don't know why.
I mean, it's definitely something you probably couldn't do at Wawa. Although, if you asked for chicken strips with the barbecue sauce, although the cheese thing would be the issue.
Sorry, you had to get up.
Right. It's okay.
You can actually still order deli.
No, you can't. I've tried.
No.
Yes, they took it away.
No.
They took my deli selection away, man. They stopped doing it.
Fags.
Wawa. As they host the Welcome America thing,
Yeah.
which I don't get that. Like,
What's that?
you're welcoming a place you live in. I don't understand. You're welcoming the people of America to a city? Is that the idea? Like that makes sense, I guess, but it's such an odd way of putting it.
Wait, what happened now?
They're doing the firework thing down in Philly for 4th of July. It's called Welcome America. Right.
You're welcome.
Well, hey,
Thank you.
Wawa. I mean, you know what? Of all the things that have happened because of this country, if Wawa is the best thing, I'm okay with that.
You know, not to be a twat, but I can't help but think Donald Trump has something to do with this.
I want to throw you another thing here, another curveball. Is there anything Donald Trump never had anything to do with?
Faking the moon landing.
Are you sure? How positive are you he's never had any investment in NASA?
Because he was 20 at the time and failing out of school.
Yeah, but his dad gave him that $1 million.
Right. But the moon landing
I mean,
was
it was a
69.
small loan, so I mean, don't get
But the moon landing was in 69.
right.
He was in college.
Hey man, he could have known somebody at NASA. Apparently, from what I've heard, which is from a podcast called Those Conspiracy Guys, so take it for what you will.
Fair enough. I am familiar.
They were talking about Nikola Tesla, this Nikola Tesla episode. And apparently their research had led them to understand that the Trump family was involved in taking evidence from Tesla's final apartment building or hotel room. However you want to really look at it.
Yes,
I mean,
his father did own that hotel.
right. So, I once again ask you, are you sure Trump had nothing to do with NASA during the time of the moon landing? Are you 100% positive? Because I feel, and I'm not sure, and there's no way of proving this, but I feel like there is some tie. There is some tie somewhere Trump has to NASA, especially during the time of the moon landing. Because, I mean, obviously that was the greatest time, and Trump's trying to make America great again, so makes sense to me.
Still 1969, man.
Hey, you can do a lot in college. Believe me, I know.
Hello? Hey, Susan. How you doing? Hey, listen.
Yeah, his Spanish is perfecto.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hot mic.
Donald Trump's Spanish is about as good as telling Mexicans to go back to your country and then ordering a burrito bowl on Cinco de Mayo.
Wasn't he wearing a sombrero? He was wearing a sombrero.
No, he didn't go that far.
Uh-huh.
No.
Totally had a sombrero on.
No,
Dude,
you gotta
can't rate
show me this
shit.
picture. You gotta show me Donald Trump with the sombrero.
I think the meme's called Donald de Mayo.
Then maybe the
Or
sombrero
Cinco
was
de
added.
Donald or something, maybe.
Maybe the sombrero is added. I don't remember seeing the sombrero. Because the tweet he sent... Here's the messed up thing. There's a presidential candidate who sends out tweets
Second hit.
on his own Twitter profile. Oh my god.
Ta-da!
Well,
Yeah. No, he did that.
No, that looks fake. That looks photoshopped. I don't believe it.
I mean, I'll go to images.
I mean, go to video. Like, no mas chicken. Pollo.
Pollo.
No mas.
No más.
Uno
No
mas.
más para mí. Sí. Está bien.
You sure?
No waros, gringo.
That's sad. You look so good. No.
No, I'm certain he did wear a sombrero
At some point.
on Cinco de Mayo, which was what made it so epic. Oh no!
I mean, the photo you showed me looks fake.
no, it is behind a crowd. Hold on, try Donald Trump on Cinco de Mayo, maybe. It was amazing.
Is that right? Yes, that's perfect.
Donald Trump burrito bowl. Maybe it was photoshopped.
That's yeah.
Because, taco bowls are authentic Mexican food.
Okay, so Fox News
Yeah, no dice.
Yeah.
I guess I got a photoshopped image.
It looks that sombrero doesn't look real. That's what I'm saying. Like,
It's out. Yeah, it's off perspective.
yeah, it's
Funny.
there's a guy wearing a sombrero that has Trump on it, which I believe is more plausible than Trump legitimately wearing a sombrero. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like there's any real picture. There's lots of photoshopped ones though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I used to
man.
follow at the real Donald Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was the real Donald Trump because it said it was at the real Donald Trump, but it's not.
Right, but no, his
That's one of those spoof accounts.
I'm trying to, because I follow him.
Donald Trump?
Yeah, I keep asking his wife or him to send his
Nudes from his wife.
news from his wife. Yeah, he never
To get the fuck
responds,
out.
but I haven't been blocked yet, so I just
He hasn't sent you the 1987 Playboy issue?
I want recent ones, dude. Like,
No, you don't.
yeah, yes, I do.
No, you really want when she's 25.
No. I
No,
want
I'm telling
recent
you
ones.
want pictures from when she was 25.
You think I want pictures that are good looking? No, I just want photos of the first lady.
Okay, well that's probably not gonna. Actually, yeah, no, Vanity Fair.
That exactly.
And that was 2 months ago.
Yeah, no, he's at real Donald Trump. Maybe not the real, but real Donald Trump.
Yeah, I know. At the real.
Yeah, this is at real.
Okay, yeah, I know.
So-
at the real.
At the real
Mhm.
is what you saw. Yeah,
That's what I subscribed to. Yeah.
that might be why. It's so close. See, here's the thing. Him and fake news, he makes most of the fake news.
He does import his news. I
like-
would venture to say he imports his news from China. If I
Is
had
that
to
where
guess.
Breitbart is from?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think PBS is a fairly decent news source.
No, and here's why. They, like the TYT network,
Yeah.
have jumped on the social justice bandwagon.
Okay.
I mean, like just today.
I haven't seen them in a
No.
while, but
In fact, you know what? No, I want to get this out there because this pissed me off.
so first it was Muslims.
They're talking
No.
about. They've always gotten on my nerves.
Refugees.
No, the Muslims have always gotten on my nerves. I just wasn't vocal about it until now.
Yeah, because you're on
So
the bandwagon.
they had. Bitch, I'm on the stagecoach.
All right, man.
So-
look, I'm in the passenger seat on the motorcycle,
So here we go. Fair enough.
hanging on.
So, essentially, I was listening to the NPR reading off the Declaration of Independence,
Okay.
and then they go into a brief summary of Benjamin Franklin.
Okay.
There's a whole society that is basically captivating, catching all his work and putting it on live websites, and they're doing printed copies of books and volumes and da 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 da. And then they start prattling on about his sister. Like, okay, yeah.
Wait,
Benjamin
whose
Franklin.
sister? No, Benjamin. Okay,
Franklin,
yeah.
had a sister, and how they talk back and forth and this, that, and the other thing. But they really turned the whole thing from Benjamin Franklin. They pivoted onto his sister, who is inconsequentially irrelevant to history. They had a standing relationship, and that was it. Now,
Could you imagine being Ben Franklin's sister?
Could you imagine being Ben Franklin and having a sister? Need I remind you, he was quite
a
promiscuous.
whore. He was a whore. Ben Franklin, he was like the first male gigolo. That was one of America's first.
No, that was
Isn't-
Napoleon.
No. Americans first.
All right, well, yes, we are number one at everything.
Yes.
We
Obviously.
win at arson.
Yeah,
we
come
can
on,
win
dude.
at arson.
No, it's like being Jesus' brother. You know, like.
Fair enough.
Dude, come on. Think about that.
No, it's
Yeah.
kind of funny in its own shape.
Your brother walks on water. What the
Right.
hell do you do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I patched the holes in his feet.
Oh, nice. Fist bump.
So, yeah, essentially, like, they basically turned the whole narrative around to the whole feminist thing. Again, with feminism. But not only that,
Okay.
they had a female historian from Harvard or some Ivy League school, head department, blah blah blah, which is great credentials. I can't divide those credentials. Total nut about Benjamin Franklin, knew a lot about him, very comprehensive. Really couldn't have another person that would be better than him.
Okay.
But when they moved on to the next subject,
Which was...
it was Benjamin Franklin still, but they moved on to the next person they were interviewing. It was moving on to other interviews about Ben Franklin.
Okay.
They jumped to another woman, and she was not as comprehensive. I mean, like, they jumped the shark from the gate. You know, they busted out, like, lead historian from Yale University.
Right.
You know, it's like, what? Head of this historic department, Benjamin Franklin aficionado. Like, you opened with that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't move on to anybody else.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? But then they
They
jumped
do
on,
anyway, but, you know.
Right, but what gave me this Ghostbuster-y feel about the whole thing was that they moved on to another woman to talk about Ben Franklin and his sister. And I'm like, come on, no one gives a fuck about Ben Franklin's sister. I mean, yeah, there was some suffrage.
I'm sure there's something interesting.
Look, I'm sure women obviously played their role in the revolution.
Sure.
Betsy Ross made a flag, yada yada.
Apparently, Betsy Ross was a bit of a whore too, a bit of a prostitute. Actually, from what I hear,
fact check that.
From what I've heard,
I can't even.
This is,
I'm not
I
going
believe,
to.
an NPR story. I mean, double check
Was she
this if you're
sleeping out with
listening.
Washington slaves?
She apparently was hired by the American Army to sleep with some of the British generals in order to pause the British's progress.
Movement through.
Right. So, in a sense,
No.
Betsy Ross was a paid prostitute by the American government army.
The first.
And then, of course, there was Operation Climax, so, I mean, it's not like we haven't had a history.
Well, that was later in the 60s, but yes, and Operation Midnight Climax has nothing to do with that. Oh, man. Hashtag CIA. Hashtag
this is
not
great.
all.
No, I just mean, like, it's something I've heard, and it seems legitimate.
Plausible.
I don't know.
Look, in
and
your
I
sick
don't,
cavity of a brain, it probably is plausible. I'm going to have to fact check that one before I can even begin to conceive that notion.
Okay.
Betsy Ross is a whore. Question mark.
That's the name. That's going to be the name of
That's
this.
what I'm Google searching right now.
That is Betsy Ross, or what is Betsy? Betsy Ross is dead now. I
An
mean,
American whore.
she's a whore for necrophiliacs, but
Holy shit. It's like the third search term. No, not images. Oh, no, not images. Oh,
was Betsy? I have a daughter of liberty.
American Horror Story. Scandalous. American Spy Master. Betsy Ross.
Yeah, she was a spy.
Directed her girls
Yeah.
to sleep with British soldiers to get secret information.
Okay.
All right, so let's double down here and just say that Betsy Ross is a pure American heart and never did anything as scandalous as sleep with British soldiers. That's treason.
Okay, so this is from Thought Catalog that I have.
Yeah, I got scandalous history.
Both of these, like, I don't trust Thought Catalog. I don't know I'm on there. There's Twitter, there's Pinterest.
Entertainment Weekly?
Yeah, I see Scandalous History.
Oh, well, here's one
Here's
from
NPR.
today. Yeah, the 4th of July, Americans will celebrate an adoption of blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
We've tried Betsy Ross, the woman who supposedly... Oh, no. I'm not going to repeat that.
Why?
Because it goes off into an ellipsis. Yeah, I'll condone most of your story is true.
Okay.
I'll
concede
that notion.
This is probably like a whisper down the lane thing, and there's
Yes.
some truth to this. Is that there probably was some sort of
Well, I mean, Betsy Ross had her girls.
Right. So there's. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, when you refer to a gaggle of women as their girls or her girls,
right.
Generally, you're talking about prostitutes. But keep in mind, I mean, this is pre-Civil War, Revolutionary War America. I mean, like, we don't have a magistrate yet. Even like the king runs the magistrate, and from a distance, we're just a British colony. British colony. I mean,
Right.
We are literally a British colony.
Right.
Before we were American.
The most important one. Let me just remind you.
The only one.
No. They may have had India or whatever, or Australia.
Well, no. I'm saying.
Was that later?
No.
I forget.
America. Well, they had. Yeah, India was under British rule for way longer than America ever will be.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is we broke the camel's back.
Okay.
Regardless of that, though.
So, Ben Franklin's sister, Betsy Ross, or
what is your mother? Trebek. No, I mean, like, that's America is founded on conspiracy. So, I mean, for something like this to be remotely true, I mean, like, yeah. And I mean, like, if you pull that apart even more, it becomes more valid. It could only become more valid.
right.
So I think we're going to stop. We really don't have to delve too deep.
Too
into this
deeply,
one,
yeah. Okay.
to contrive to say that this is actually a very brilliant scheme. And we could actually say that Betsy Ross was probably the first director of the CIA.
There you go.
Or FBI, whatever. Female body
CIA
inspectors.
is a little bit closer to the
Right,
truth.
but I mean, like, as a
But-
female body inspector, I think that she would be the most aficionado. She's sending them out.
Okay.
She's got to know the tastes. So.
Well, she does have to review her girls. Make sure they're up for the job.
This is true.
Yep.
Truth in the notion.
So, we were talking about the immigration issues through Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Islam, okay, as a whole, I do not see Islam going away as a religion in this world.
You're going to be profoundly impressed with what's going to happen in the next 15, 20 years. Because here's what's going to happen. Either we do something about Islam, or we don't. And right now, when downtown France is starting to look like 1986 Libya, we need to start doing something. Something has to be done. Poland is taking the right stand. If you can't be a part of civil society, you don't belong there. I mean, come on. We don't let murderers and rapists run around that are white Christians, or any Christian for that matter. What the hell makes it right because you're a Muslim?
Right.
I mean, like, someone's literal defense was that he was having a sexual emergency and raped a little boy. At what point do you say no? Enough is enough. Before or after they raped the little boys? I'm asking that now because, I mean, you seem to have the conjecture here. Me personally, I don't think any of them should be welcome.
I think
They have a huge desert that they can just lounge around in and play all day.
I think obviously raping a little boy as well. Obviously.
Okay, yes. I was being incredibly facetious.
Right. Okay. I do feel like Islam being a newer religion compared to Judaism or Christianity, and those are the big three. There's obviously Buddhism that seems to be less of an actual issue.
Yes,
but even then, there's things that are messed up with Dalai Lama and like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to understand that a lot of the Buddhist angst is being taken out on Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
With the Philippines recently calling a martial law into effect.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the Buddhists have gone apeshit crazy over this because they are the law in that region.
Honestly, it's when you take your identity from some ideology and just run with it and don't give any thought into it is
Absolutely.
when it becomes dangerous, and that's regardless of what the ideology is.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, Islam, extreme
Guys still chilling for a little bit?
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to go with Sam Harrison, just say that, Islam is a plethora of bad ideas.
I mean,
Just-
yes
it's
and
the
no.
tome of
Look,
bad ideas.
was it any worse than what was before Islam in the Middle East with their mythology of
Yes.
genies and stuff. Is it?
Yes,
Is
absolutely.
it really worse when you had?
And here's why.
Mhm.
It's no longer in the Middle East. It is everywhere in Europe,
Sure.
with the exception of Poland and Russia. Even Russia is dealing with this.
But why did Christianity have a hold of Europe? Why does it matter?
Well, Christianity didn't.
But it does. That's what
It
I'm
does
saying.
now.
It does now.
Because
why?
Because it kicked the Ottoman Empire out. It got fed up with their shit.
Or was that the Roman Empire
No.
who Constantine spread Christianity?
Well, right, he spread
and that-
Christianity. There's
right.
no denial of that.
Yeah.
But you have to understand is the Crusades are a retaliation to the Ottoman Empire. Because of
Mm-hmm.
the Crusades, we were able to push the Ottoman Empire out. We took the Europeans took Charlemagne's son,
Mm-hmm.
grandfather, one of the two, and pushed the Ottoman out of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And then pushed them into the Middle East, and then continued to follow through with the Middle East.
The whole point
Now,
of making
but here's the deal: those who fail history
Mm-hmm.
are doomed to repeat it. And what didn't they do during the Crusades?
those who
They
forget
did not
this.
remove the Ottoman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
They did not remove all of it. Without the book needs to be all the Sharia and all that other junk needs to be set on fire and just thrown away. Because ideologies of this way have no place in a civil society of this day and age. None. And that's in no rational mind can argue that. I'm not going to back you into the wall.
Sure.
If you have a rebuttal, go for it.
I mean, this is where
It's not going to sound rational.
look. I try to keep an open mind about a lot of things.
Mhm.
I try
Absolutely.
to listen to lots of different arguments, do as much research on whatever. You know, like I was studying the history of Islam for a while. I've read the Quran, I've read the Bible.
I mean,
Honest-
a read's a read.
Right. When you look at religion in general and people with religion, it does not matter what the text is.
No, it's the policy behind it. You know, you could be Muhammad, you could be Abraham, any of the Abrahamics.
But there was the Spanish, yeah, exactly.
Right,
Any
and
Abrahamic
then- right.
religion. There's also pagan religions that like had human sacrifice involved. I mean, there's
right.
Look at the Inca Empire. You know, they were
Right.
They literally
Again,
killed.
gone.
Yeah,
Gone.
They had the one day of it was some. What was it? They were celebrating the opening of a temple or something, and they
The Arab Spring.
no Inca Empire,
Oh, okay.
where they sacrificed.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
How many millions
No.
or thousands?
I mean,
within
in
3 days.
in the pirouette of in the apex of the Incan society, I'm almost certain they thrived at almost 3 million.
Okay,
So let's turn the volume down a little bit more.
30,000
I mean,
possibly.
I would say probably around 50,000. But this was
Okay.
a very violent culture we're talking
This
about
is
here.
what I'm saying though. Is that
But this
I
is
don't
also a culture
believe-
that would not have lasted in society like this.
Right, okay. I do not believe the text or the philosophy of any religion, regardless of what it is where the issue lies. And it
Right.
lies in human behavior.
Right.
And it's how you interact with one other person. And if you're going to be an asshole,
Right. Which
then that's going to lead
Right.
to
which
certain
the Quran
behavior.
specifically mentions to do.
I-
The Quran specifically from Muhammad's mouth tells you that non-Muslim are to be treated as subhuman.
Does
Specifically.
it?
Oh yeah.
Where is it?
You'll have to. I mean, don't
This is what I'm saying. I don't-
don't sharpshoot me because
I
I
don't
don't
know.
read the Quran, but I have seen and sourced it.
Here's the thing, when I read the Quran, I didn't read that. Like, most specific text from the Quran,
No, these are directly from Muhammad speaking.
well, there was the Quran, and then
Like
there
the
were
Sharia.
other
Right, the other
books
books around it, yeah.
Right, I did not read those other books.
Right, no, I'm talking about
which
the
may
writings
have-
of Muhammad, who is their prophet,
Right,
who is basically their God.
yeah, well, as Muhammad...
I mean, everything from Sharia to the Talmud.
Honestly, I think Muhammad's uncle, who thought he was crazy, was probably more correct.
Absolutely.
But,
I mean, he took a 6-year-old wife.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, apparently the Catholics can see eye to eye on this, which is fine.
Look, it's just I'm not one to say religion itself is evil.
Right. Well,
But
I am
it's-
one to say that it is 100% absolutely filthy.
Sure.
I mean, it's disgusting. From Leviticus to Barnabas, it's filled with nothing but horror and wretch. And just all the Old Testament.
Sure.
I mean,
It's
David sent by God.
very
to
interesting.
wipe them to a
read.
man.
Yeah.
Dash their children upon the rocks. Blah blah blah. Come on,
Yeah.
man. There's no room for that in a civil society. There's no reason why that text
Neither
even
is there
exists.
room for a talking donkey. There's a talking donkey
in the Quran or
in
no.
the Old Testament.
Oh yeah, okay,
Mhm.
right.
There's bear maulings. Like there's demons. Okay, listen. If
Right,
you're
right, right.
taking
And James and what have you.
your advice solely from one book,
Which they do.
that's part of the issue.
Yes, it's intrinsically the issue. I'm not going to disagree with that.
It doesn't mean that you
The people
can't
don't have
read
to
the
go to
Quran.
the people don't have to go away. Just the literature.
No, I'm not saying you
I mean,
have
like
to burn
you have
I don't
Christians.
think
You
you
have
have to
Christians that
burn
want to
anything.
teach this garbage you have Christians that want to teach this garbage in science classes as science.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's-
How are we ever going to evade ourselves to a phase 3 species with this kind of barbaric scripture laying around?
It has
For
to do
people to
with
just pick up
people in
ignorantly and
general
breathe.
who want. Look, I sincerely believe there is some sort of void that happens to us as humans. There's some part of us that feels empty on purpose, and we find meaning in things to fill that void. So that
Okay.
has to do with either you
Right.
are in the rock
but why does it
climbing,
have to,
or
yeah,
if
but
you're
why
into
does it have
religion.
to be Sharia law?
Because
Does it have
it's
to be
the same
Sharia?
reason why
We fill
we're.
ourselves with that
It's the
because
same reason why there's 15 churches in a 10-mile radius.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's fine.
It's that culture,
Yeah,
how
but-
it's perpetuated
Yeah, but
itself
it doesn't
into
have to be.
being.
It doesn't have to be something that infringes on human rights.
You're right.
I mean, it can.
The
I
thing
mean, like,
is,
you know,
you're taking
for what's
people
good for the
who
goose.
are culturally in this place that is Muslim by nature. It's Islamic. It's the Middle East. And you're taking these people, and this is how they live.
Yes.
Beyond terrorism, I'm not getting into that. I don't.
No,
look,
no, that's
terrorist
really-
is such a broad term, though. Is the Oklahoma City bomber, was that a Muslim? There's white terrorists, that dude who shot up the church in South Carolina
listen,
or whatever. And
Listen.
I'm saying
I have
outside
no
of
problem,
terrorism.
I have no problem disseminating terrorism
Yeah.
from jihadists and fundamentalists as terrorists.
Sure.
Okay, you do something that terrorizes someone. then-
You're a terrorist.
Yes, and
Right.
terror is a catastrophe that's induced for political means. Okay, to induce a political action or something based on a political motive or political narrative.
Might not always be political, but
It's
there's
90. It's
a lot
no.
of
It's literally.
politicized.
It's literally political. It's literally to do something. In fact, the phrase was coined in the early '80s, back when terrorists would hijack planes.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, like
go to
Muslim-
Cuba.
Libya.
We're going to Cuba.
No, Libya.
Okay.
They always wanted to go to Libya.
Well, they were
would
off.
hijack buses
They
and
were
go to
off.
Libya.
They should have went to Nigeria and found that prince before the emails went out.
Probably would have helped their cause a lot more.
Well, you never know.
Or at least not been selling uranium to Doc Brown.
So the point I'm making, though, is that you have a clash of cultures, regardless of terrorism or not.
Right, but
Where you're going to
you
ha-
can't deny the fact though.
That
You can't deny that fact.
of
You
what?
have to take the terrorism out of. You have to take that whole jihad. You have to get rid of that jihadist concept. You have to get rid of
Obviously.
these
But
fundamentalists.
you
You get rid of the
cannot-
fundamentalists. I don't care about
You
religion.
cannot force
Religion
somebody.
can live forever. I don't care. Yes, you have to. You have to force this poison. You know, I'll tell you what. Here's some poison. Just drink a little bit of it so you don't die, but just make yourself sick with it, and just keep making yourself sick and sick and sick and sick, because that's what it is.
How do you stop
makes a
a
society
brainwashed
sick.
person from being brainwashed?
You take away their books. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why we
Dude,
have a whole section of the Mojave Desert.
Do you know
could just
how many
keep them in the
people
desert.
watch Fox News?
Why do you think they're still in a fucking desert? They burned the library. The Arab Spring burned down the Alexandria Library.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest achievements of mankind of all times. Burned it to the ground.
Religion is a very powerful tool that people have used forever.
Yes.
Since the beginning of time.
Right.
To advance their own.
And who's in charge
will.
of that tool? Because they shouldn't be.
The religious zealots.
Right, and they shouldn't be anymore.
I don't think so either. And I think there's a lot of Muslims. There's a lot of Muslims who also feel the same way.
Well, yeah, but
and I think if anybody is of sound mind enough to look at things objectively, that goes beyond religion. I mean, it somewhat goes beyond science. It's logic.
Look, I'm not saying that we need to... Look, what
I'm saying there's going to be backlash when a group of people who are assimilated in one culture moves to another place with a different culture and a different assimilation. It happens time and time again every time there's immigration.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily have to do with terrorism.
But when you're in my house, you live by my rules.
Yes.
Okay, well, you don't move into someone's house and then all of a sudden the toilet seat gets left up and dishes get left in the sink, because these are just bad house guests moving into an otherwise nice neighborhood.
Now, with countries in Europe, it should be easy enough to say these are our laws.
Right.
And I don't care if you follow Sharia law or whatever.
But that's the thing is, no, they can't follow Sharia law and still stay within the laws of the confines
this law
of that state.
Of this country. That's what I'm saying.
But Sharia doesn't do that.
That's why anything necessarily outside of the current state's law that you live in, that's in your Sharia law, you can't live by that.
Right,
and
but
that's
why
the issue with people.
But that's why you're seeing these no-go zones now in Europe.
But that's
exactly what's happening.
But here's the thing: you tell an extremely religious person that they cannot follow their law that they've grown up with culturally.
Absolutely, you have to throw it away.
They have to. Yes. But do you expect that person to immediately?
Yes.
Well, then you're rushing them.
No.
Whether
okay, well,
they
you know
should
what?
or not,
In my culture, you know, it's okay to walk around and poke people in the eye with sticks. Now, do you expect me to stop that immediately? Because we've been doing it since the early figuring of our civilization.
Here's the thing, though. I might expect you to at least try.
Okay, because when people are getting raped because they have a sexual emergency, I expect that to stop the fucking minute they get off the boat. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen in my country. That doesn't happen. Not the little.
If I didn't know that was a thing, if I didn't know that was a thing, and I saw that happen once, what do you think I would do? I would say, go over every single person who's coming from that country and say, look, we've had this incident or whatever.
Right.
Here's our laws. Why don't we give out?
There's no pamphlets.
Why not? Why not?
You shouldn't have to be told you don't rape people because you have a sexual emergency.
Why do you think that when we don't live in that country, we've never experienced those kinds of laws? We don't know these people. Why do you think
Wait, we're supposed to know that these are things? I mean, no, really.
Look.
Or how about the other one that occurred where the specific case was an individual's age could not be proved and was having relationships with a 15-year-old. But he was swearing up and down that he was 16, even though he didn't have any ID, no birth certificate, no identification, no social security number, no identification of any kind. He was Joe Blow off the street. Anybody I want to be, aka nobody. Now what? Now you can't even find these people when they melt into your society. They have no name, no location, no address. They're ghosts. Are you fucking for real? Of course Trump doesn't want them here. Of course!
Yeah.
Are you from Crazy Land? Because in Crazy Land, anything can happen. Because that's crazy.
I'm just telling you.
Look,
when you look at human history,
I understand where you're coming
from. Humans are capable of anything.
When I first started seeing this influx come into Europe, I was very torn. I was like, yeah, these people, it sucks. These people are in a bad spot. They need to come in. He said they need to go somewhere. We'll probably take some of them. They'll probably go to Australia, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And then, like, after about a year, I was like, yo, fuck these people.
Mm-hmm.
I was all for it. I wasn't like a bleeding heart liberal about it.
Right.
But now I'm seeing the light. Now I'm seeing that these people that genuinely need help are dragging the poison in with them. They got shit on their shoes and they're walking right in the door.
And I'm sure
not okay.
that would happen with a
With
lot
anybody,
of other
it's happened with literally every country.
And
Australia is the only country that hasn't had a problem. You know why?
I don't know.
They have them on a Gitmo. That's like
Okay.
yeah, they have a whole staging area for that stuff, and those people get thoroughly inspected before they even allowed near the island.
Mm-hmm.
Australia is not letting anybody off a boat. They
Yeah.
don't even come to Australia. Those refugee boats, people got refugees coming to the trading ports. They stop in Tasmania. They get left off in a facility in Tasmania, which is overflowing.
Mm-hmm.
People are trying to like break off the island and swim to the mainland and all that other stuff.
Did
Like,
any of them go to South America?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just wondering, like,
They're all over the place.
you know, it's kind of like,
I mean,
why
like,
is
India's-
it
I
my
mean, like,
problem?
but I
Why
mean,
is
like,
it
nobody-
everybody's problem? You
Yeah,
know?
well, I mean, like, no one wants to go to India or China because they both suck. Probably more so
How
than
about North
Morocco.
Korea? Do they take immigrants? They take Dennis Rodman.
I mean, there is why they're not going.
Oh,
No, I mean, yeah, like many countries are taking these people in, and these are the ones you're seeing in the news.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing it in the news, they're not taking refugees. France was one of the biggest hits. UK's had a couple incidents. UK's got entire parts of London.
Yeah.
You cannot go there.
hmm
You don't want to go there.
yeah.
And they're complete gulags.
I mean-
Complete gulags.
Look, it's
Sweden is so fucked up over this that they're like talking about how they need to embrace the new Swede will embrace this change. Are you out of your mind? Like, you crazy? Sweden has become the Middle East's cuck. Seriously, straight out. Like they have become a legit cuck. They just bend over backwards for these people, and they rape and they pillage and they create these no-go zones and set up their own little political societies. They're usurping governments, municipal governments in the countries of their refuse. This is crazy. No way. As Lao Tzu would say, cut it off at the butt before it flowers.
I think it might be a little late for that. Sorry, Lau.
Just saying. But I mean, this is the most successful country. Even Russia's having this problem.
Yeah.
Russia.
Well, they.
No one fucks with Russia. No one has ever successfully invaded Russia.
Except
Ever. The Muslims that are getting, the refugees that are getting in there.
No. Genghis Khan.
Oh, well, yeah, but he came from the east.
Look, on that note, we're going to end this. Thanks for coming on. Justin, if you have anything you want to promote.
I got no plugs.
Okay. Well, at the end of every episode, this is a 2-hour, we do Xavier Runyon's advice. So do you have any, does not matter what the advice is. Do you have any advice for our listeners?
Run for your life.
There you go. All right. Thanks again.